Let me introduce you to our guest today, a powerful woman and someone who has not just achieved success in her own life. I call her a Wonder Woman because she helps others achieve success in their lives. So that's Deepa Mahesh for you.
I've always been inspired by a lot of things from nature, and nature and spirituality continued to be in my life, but not in those ways as it existed before. It changed its ways.
Journaling is something even I believe can be life changing. I myself journal a lot, and in fact, that has been I consider it as one of the reasons for me to always be growing.
So the answer to what you asked, what are the factors leading to growth? One of the biggest thing is reflection. I spend a lot of time in reflecting on everyday experiences. Nothing is mundane for me. So even any experience, when reflected upon, becomes deep, profound, expansive, or whatever adjective that we want. And it just gives me a very grounded, holistic, and full view of that situation and experience. Glass ceiling can be broken with the power of the mind, and sometimes what happens is people who come to me with that during the coaching journey, they realize actually I'm not even chasing that. I'm actually chasing inner peace and joy. I have not slept, I have not taken a vacation for 6 years.
Welcome back to yet another episode of #FemPower. Let me introduce you to myself first. I'm Rajat, your Powerful Choices coach. And I've written a book called Women, Beware of the Freaking Plot Hole. If you haven't already read it, please go ahead and read it and leave your review in Kindle after you have done it. The book is available only on Kindle. With that, let me introduce you to our guest today, a powerful woman and someone who has not just achieved success in her own life. I call her a Wonder Woman because she helps others achieve success in their lives. She's a leadership coach and facilitator, and she is an energy mastery coach. And we are going to learn more about what it means. But from what I've understood from her, this is something that makes you more capable of achieving success. So that's Deepa Mahesh for you. Welcome to the show, Deepa.
Thank you. And so well put. It does make you achieve more, and that too with balance.
Wow. Okay. So today we have a balance between power and balance and energy. So we are going to create something new, conjure something new today together. So Deepa, my first question to you is, share a little about yourself, your journey. How did you end up being an energy coach? How was your life as a kid, growing up, and the whole thing, the whole story?
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm basically from Mumbai, born in a Tamil Brahmin household. A lot of religious practices, a lot of arts around me. So growing up, I was a Bharatanatyam dancer, a classical singer, and another thing which is very, very close to my heart is I used to be a Garba dancer. So folk is very close to my heart. And especially Garba and Dandiya. Like I remember when the moment I could hear the Garba, the Navratri songs, I would be out of my home and I would begin dancing and would go to different competitions, win them, and have fun. So a lot of dancing, I would say, in my childhood. After 10th, I chose commerce. It was really not a choice. I don't think I was clear. So confusion was always there in my head. Kya karna chahiye? What should I choose? What should I not? I just landed into commerce. And those 5 years, I think, whatever number of years, it was a struggle. But what I enjoyed most was college It lasted from 7:30 to 11. That's all my college timings were. And after that, I would go to the Chinmaya mission in Mumbai, in Mulund, where I used to stay, and I would serve. So a large part of my youth was involved in serving, a spiritual organization called Chinmaya Mission. And I met people there. I socialized there. I found my voice there. I would sing bhajans. I would listen to spiritual discourses. Uh, I mean, a lot of study groups that I used to attend and listen. Not that I would understand everything, but I'm in that surrounding. Then eventually, I also started teaching. In Bala Vihar. Bala Vihar is a where you teach the children the slokas, stotras, and all of that. And somehow the vibrations of the slokas, etc., would really make me thrive. I would feel those vibrations. I really enjoyed them. But it was more like an activity, nothing serious, nothing to, I would not intellectualize too much. I would also have fun with all the folks there. That was my growing up, my youth days, and lots of friends there. And then I naturally went to post graduation. I did in human resources. It was again a chance. I then started my work with Ispat Industries, where I was an executive assistant. And then from there, I came into core human resources because my specialization was in human resources. I really, really enjoyed human resources. I think it was an opportunity to connect with more number of people, understand. And I think that is where I started thinking, okay, why do people think the way they think? Why do people behave the way they behave? Processes of HR were always there, but that was never my interest. For me, it was boring. But the things that one couldn't decode naturally through a structured process was always my interest. Because I could never understand why two people think differently or the same, but I wanted to understand. So, and that kept going on for many, many years. I shifted from Mumbai to Bangalore, and I got my job in the Aditya Birla Group, Madhura Fashion and Lifestyle, and where I served for 10 years. The best years of my life. I mean, I would call myself an opening batsman. Wahan pe whatever roles were, to be done for the first time, I would get that.
Oh.
So really to figure it out. And I am a creative soul, so to create it my way and to really offer it and package it even to the internal stakeholders, because a lot of times I had to sell it to people. Why is this important? And making a big halla gulla of it. Really, I enjoyed interacting with stakeholders. I enjoyed creating that creation process. It was literally like birthing of an initiative. Again, the process part was never my interest. It was more a tick in the box. But the creation and the execution and seeing the transformation was something I really enjoyed. So when I did my training stint there, I started really training. But training hatke is what my motto was, not the standard training. With the standard training, I can hire trainers, but to do it differently. That continued for a long, long time until 2013, when I said that, this is not working for me. I'm enjoying fame and everything, but I'm not happy. And in search of my purpose, I quit, a long time career to really start off as an entrepreneur. I mean, at that time, I did not know what's an entrepreneur, really. But I'm on my own. That's what I called. And I'm not be on your own, you need a card. So I made a card, and my card was circular. I do not like the square and the rectangle card. So it was a circular card. So I had to actually go to Printo and get a die made for it, because they said, aisa koi card nahi banata, nobody makes this. So it was always hatke, and it was a spiral. So I've always been inspired by a lot of things from nature, and nature and spirituality continued to be in my life, but not in those ways as it existed before. It changed its ways. And eventually what happened was I started facilitating in organizations, and I trained myself to be an expressive arts therapist. Psychology got added to it. I did my master's in psychology. Psychology got added to it, and It answered the question for me. Why do people think and behave the way they behave? So I
Oh,
feel
okay.
there is an iceberg. Above the iceberg is behavior, and below the iceberg is thoughts, emotions, beliefs, motives, instincts, and all of that. And until we decode all of this, we can't understand behavior. That started my mastery into really looking at all of these are energies. All of this thought is an energy, belief is an energy, emotion is an energy, instinct is an energy, my drive is an energy, my motivation is an energy. And when that energy is off balance, either it's too high or too low, I drain. It's like a leak from a pot. And we don't know it because it's not like a cut which can be seen, which can be nursed. It's really internal because it's below the iceberg. And my research really has been to decode that and understand. And I do that with my coaching services, my workshops, my leadership programs, whether it in company or outside. So, a lot of turn to really reach where I have reached here. And I'm so happy and fulfilled right now.
Amazing. So I have actually listened to your TED talk, and it's very inspiring. Also, I went through your website and you talk about journaling. So, journaling is something even I believe can be life changing. Even if you did not have any guidance, if you were just journaling your experiences, and I myself journal a lot, and in fact, that has been I consider it as one of the reasons for me to always be growing. So let's hear a little about your TED talk, TEDx talk.
Yeah. So, my journey to reach the TEDx talk was simple. I wanted to inspire. And it was very clear to me that uh, my purpose is to create a shift in human consciousness. A lot of us do not really understand why we behave the way we behave. So a lot of clients come to me and said, I got a mail from the client, from my manager. I was so angry that I just reacted. I sent a reply, which was a
Oh,
CC to all, and I messed it up. Now it was a reaction. Okay, because the person could not find the pause in between the stimulus and the response or the reaction. So this was always, my thing of really making people understand that there is a possibility of a pause. And when you do that out of choicefulness, then the outcomes can be very, very different. So the TEDx was an endeavor to do that, to really tell people that it's okay to have a breakdown, but from the breakdown can come a breakthrough if you are conscious about it. And one of my practices, I've been a journaler for 2+ decades now. And right from, I have my journals of the past, like right from my childbirth to exactly what happened on day 1, day 15, day 19. I have all the account of it. To everything, I have everything. When I was, in the hospital for some reason, there was a notepad there which was from a pharmaceutical company. I had to write, I had to express. So wo leke I had written. I still have that. So journaling has been in my life and it's been my lifesaver. And how I think is that, normally we want somebody to be there to listen to us, but I feel my journal listens to me. It holds space for me, and that's all I need. So my journal is my partner. And I used to have journals for different things. I used to do my connection with the womb, being a woman. It's very important to have a deep connection with myself. So I used to have a journal for that. As to another journal called the Moon Journal, where I connect with the moon and decipher what happens with the moon and me. I used to have an emotions journal. Then I had a thoughts journal, and they would all be different. So I exactly know what I'm capturing. And they would all be lined up here, and every night I would spend hours in that journaling. So it was a night routine for me. And now I don't have so many segregations, so I just have one book. And I've had so many people gifting me journals because they know I'm an avid journaler, that now I don't have space to store my journals. So I have one cupboard full of my past journals
oh,
that I go to them. But when I'm traveling, one of the journal randomly I pick and I take it along and I flip through the pages. It is so beautiful to see and honor and acknowledge my growth. Like it is so beautiful to see what are the knots that I was processing at that point in time, in that year, in that month, in that circumstance. And where am I come now? Have I come now? Because a lot of times we don't acknowledge. We always think, I'm not there. But it's as important to acknowledge where have I come and look at the journey that we have traveled to feel that strength within, that power that you talked about. So that's how it's helped me in different ways and it continues to help me.
Amazing. In fact, this sounds like a science of journaling. There's one that I talk a lot about, which is the Six Times book. This is suggested in the book called Diamond Cutter. Maybe you can check out the book. Although you don't need the same, you don't need to learn another method of journaling. But I just got reminded of it because that particular book actually started me on some real. So I used to write when I felt like, and then I would stop writing. But this Six Times book actually took me through the journey through myself, where I could figure out that I'm selfish, I'm all the things we believe that only others are, I found in myself. So I would definitely advise everyone to journal, and you are like the goddess of journaling now, 20 years of journaling. So I'm going to remember you when I'm journaling from now on.
Lovely. So I figured another thing is a process or a structure for journaling doesn't work for me. That is what I realized. And that method of journaling is called the stream of consciousness journaling. So and so I have been doing that forever. Only I started thinking of methods when people started coming to me and they're saying, can you give me 2 questions to journal? And that's when I realized, okay, prompts are needed for people because stream of journal consciousness journaling is not accessible and possible for everyone.
For everyone.
And I think it was about just maybe 8-9 years ago that I understood that I need to do that. So then I started workshops, 21-day journaling workshop. And there are different ways now, I kind of teach. One is through metaphor journaling or through visual art journaling or through just prompts journaling. I also do something called the overwhelm journaling because see, today, a lot of leaders are struggling with the problem of being overwhelmed. What are the simple 5 ways to really contain your overwhelm and shift to a place of power and choice? So I've created a method for that. And how did I do that? I went back to my journals and my life and said, how did I manage my overwhelm? So all of that I figured and I created a 5-step or a 5 questions and I have now sent it to people. People are finding it extremely useful. So my method has come from the stream and now I have certain processes for it. So because I am not so much a structure, I was not so much a structure person earlier. But
Right.
after I started sharing it with people, I realized people need structure.
Yes.
So now I bring flow and structure together in a way that it weaves seamlessly and very harmoniously.
And I think what amazes me about you is your there is something very unique in you. I don't know whether anybody ever has told you this, but I guess you have a very, very strong sense of service, of serving others. And what I'm hearing as you talk is that every time somebody has needed something from you, you have stepped up and created something for them.
Yeah,
And that journey started from you helping yourself.
yeah, that's very true.
So I don't know. I just saw you in LinkedIn, and something made me want to connect with you. Ideally, we are like in the same profession, so we try to see what the other person is doing. But there was something very, very grounded about you. which really wanted, a part of me wanted to know you. And that's how I connected with you. And,
Wow. Wow.
and that's what I'm hearing from you over and over, that, somebody came, asked for help. And that is why I looked for an answer. And then you created a whole structure around it.
That's true.
That's a massive talent, and it's natural. One more thing, Deepa, I want to tell you. I'm speaking too much about you, but I want to tell you one more thing I notice about people who are successful in helping others is their connection with spirituality at a young age. So I've seen this with Sheryl Sandberg. So she was very closely connected with her spiritual part of her life during her early age, and profession was the second thing that happened to her. Like, it was for money that she went into profession, but her real commitment was, and it's really great to have a life like that. In fact, the questions that I decided I would ask you do not do justice to you. Okay. So let me try to still take you through the questions, but stick to what you want to answer. But I'll be asking more questions for you.
I just wanted to come in for a bit for your for what you shared now, and I just want to acknowledge you. See, because it takes something in you to be able to see that in the other.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely, yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, so now this is like mutual praise. Let's move to something else.
Why be uncomfortable with it?
No, I'm not being uncomfortable. I'm just making it fun. I'm just lightening up. Because I think
It's so beautiful when you laugh.
what we are experiencing, it's a very profound experience that I'm feeling right now, because it's like, I just felt I should connect with you, and then to get to know you, and it makes me only feel that I want to know you more. We should meet more and more such people, and that's what this hashtag FemPower has been doing for me. Yeah. So, what are my next question is, so this hashtag FemPower is actually meant for women who get stuck up in some time in their journey, and they want to balance their life and work, and it's not working out. And while some of us can say that we had a very supportive family, a good childhood, or many different reasons why we could find a way out, there are some I know who can't. So this is for them to hear from other women who are also grounded, not great achievers, but are doing what they love to do. So, and you're one of them. Like, you, every day you are doing something that you love to do. I can see that on your face, and your posts in LinkedIn, and everywhere in your TEDx talk. So, what are the factors that contributed to your growth?
Okay. Firstly, I feel I'm an achiever. And secondly, this word balance, no, I've struggled with it, honestly. It's a confession. I've really struggled with it. And I remember several times when I've told myself, what kind of a life I'm living? It's like standing on one foot all the time and feeling so exhausted and tired. So until a few years ago, it was like this only. So this balance is a very tricky. It can be very triggering to many of us, and it was like that to me. And only recently when I was doing one of the, I practiced an art form called eurythmy, and in that we moved to this form of the infinity. We call it the lemon scale.
Can you repeat the name of the art form?
Eurythmy.
Eurythmy. Okay. How do you spell it?
EU and rhythmy.
Okay.
So in that, it's an art of harmonious and beautiful movements. So I was moving to this form of the infinity, and when I realized that I was not exactly making the infinity in the middle, which means the right and the left were not the same. But it felt good in my body. And when I reflected on that experience, is when I realized that balance doesn't need to be actually made point where left and right is the same. And I think I looked at, okay, how can I use this principle in my life to figure out what can I do? So the answer to what you asked, what are the factors leading to growth? One of the biggest thing is reflection. I spend a lot of time in reflecting on everyday experiences. Nothing is mundane for me. So even a daily, any experience, when reflected upon, becomes deep, profound, expansive, or whatever adjective that we want. And it just gives me a very grounded, holistic, and full view of that situation and experience. So with the result, there are so many learnings which is beyond that experience that I encountered. So that is the biggest learning for me. And the second is learning. I am such a learner that all my certifications and inquiries have been because of my learning attitude. Just that now I've stopped going for any certification or too many things, because I feel learning is when take one, go deeper. So now it's depth and not width. So then that brings mastery, and mastery is what I chase. For me, mastery is very, very important. Take one thing and go do that consistently again and again and again and again. And for me, that now is growth. And those things can be done anytime, anywhere. We don't have to attend a Zoom meeting or go anywhere. We can just do it by ourselves. So these two have been very, very instrumental in my growth. And the third thing which has been instrumental is grounding. Like what you experienced, I invest time in that, in grounding, because knowing me I'm 47 now. I would say 40 years of my life, I have lived ungrounded. And so, but what it has done is the desire to be grounded became so much that it was almost like I give myself no option but to be that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started inquiring, okay, what can bring the grounding? The answer was, be like that sun, be like the trees, be like every element in nature, which is just there. Now, because I'm not an inanimate object, or I am not the tree, I am a human being. Because when I decide to do something, I get swayed, I get, my mind goes here and there, I get distracted. So I realized I need to be rhythmic like the sun and really bring my will into it. It's like I have to bring every focus of it. So I started having my rhythms. Okay, so there'll be a morning rhythm, there'll be an afternoon rhythm, there'll be an evening rhythm, and there'll be a night rhythm. Mm-hmm. And continuously doing the same thing again and again, doing the same thing again and again, again and again and again. Because I would get bored otherwise, to do the same thing is so boring. Kuch naya chahiye, some spice has to be there. Mm-hmm. But this is what got me what I want, because I asked for it. I asked for grounding and I got an answer. So it becomes so easy for me now. Grounding is not an effort. It is a state of existence, to an extent that it is a very core part of my being. I don't get flustered. And even big situations, I can be really, really calm, which was so much a desire for me in the yesteryears. Almost looks like the old janam of mine, a past janam, but but really now I feel, and it is so advantageous, because even people around me can feel the grounding. There is that therav, like that stillness, and that is one very big reason I feel for my growth. And because of these three things, I think the final thing that has come to me is authenticity. So again, like balance, truth and authenticity and honesty is a very elusive term. What is truth? How much is truth? Can I be like Gandhiji is a question. I don't want to be like Gandhiji. It's something I would tell myself. But I figured that authenticity lets me sleep well and my well-being is enhanced. So to a large extent, I tell myself today that 99% I'm authentic. So it allows me, and that 1% I forgive myself. I'm okay with it, because I know exactly there is a lot of acceptance. So these practices, this being learning, very curious about things, but curiosity has its own peril because it can also get me scattered. So I also contain my curiosity to really say, okay, is this what I really want to learn at this point in time? If yes, yes, go all out, because I know if I pick something, I'll go deep. I'll not be on the surface. So yeah, largely these things, and all of this have aided in the process of balancing my work and life. Like I was sharing, like this early this month, September, I had to leave my younger son alone because I had to go for my facilitation. My husband had to go for his running, which he's passionate about, and my older one he's in college. So I was feeling, the mother in me was feeling that I'm leaving my son alone. But what I realized is that what is he learning? He's learning that his mother is doing what she loves. His father is doing what he loves. So it's fine. So I need to also pursue what I love, and that's fine too, which he's doing. He's pursuing his shooting, his rifle shooting. He's in 9th grade. So at that time, that was important. Next week, I'm going to be full week with him for his shooting competition, leaving all my work. So this is balance for me the next week. And the same mother in me is fully active here. Whereas the professional, the purpose chaser in me was active early September. And that's balance. This, when I look at balance this way, it just brings me to a state of peace. And I just acceptance that all's fine.
Thanks for your answer. So actually, it's a very different answer from how most people would attack this, because they would say that, my parents were responsible and my husband is responsible. But I can see that you are more like an ascetic. So it's your journey has been so inward that now when a question is asked, you look inward for an answer. And that's beautiful, So I'm not going to ask you that question about how many people contributed to your, your success. But that is something also as we proceed, you might want to add. Okay. But your answer per se is, so I'll tell you one thing, Deepa, here now, there are two aspects to us, right? One which interacts with the world and one which interacts from within. And I have met very few people who are able to balance themselves so well that their interactions are only from within. And so some people might find it hard to understand that,
yes. Very true. I so agree.
So for some people will find it very hard to understand that why is it that every time, we are talking about spirituality too deep a level. It's becoming like a spiritual conversation, if you notice. So with that in mind, because you are such a spiritual person and you have seen people around, one of the things that I feel and I talk about very strongly is about marriage and success for women. So I actually sometimes say that women are either married or successful. But yeah, a lot of women are divorced in today's time. And what is your take on it? And what do you, okay, so my actual question is, what do you think stops women from achieving leadership success in their lives?
Yeah.
Plus that, I also want to understand in that how, because family plays a very strong role in holding them back. And I really want to understand that from you.
Yeah, sure.
At ground level, huh?
And these two really to me look like two different streams of questions.
Yes.
So I think the first one I heard was that what stops women from achieving success. So it's like simple formula hai, or this formula is available on the internet everywhere. Performance is equal to potential minus interference.
Wow, awesome.
इसका सिंपल फॉर्मूला है और ये फॉर्मूला जब मैंने देखा तो मैं बोला this actually summarizes all the work I do and all the reflection I have done. So you want to perform, I want to perform. While I may be spiritual, I chase numbers. I know every month how much money I want to make. I know how many clients I want to impact. I am very much in the real world. I manage stakeholders. I go for all conversations. I do discovery calls 2 or 3 in a day. So I live in a real world. And let me tell you one conversation I had today. In the morning, I had a coaching conversation, and so she's a leader in an insurance organization, and she was telling me that networking for her is very difficult. I don't believe in networking. I asked her, what do you mean by networking? She told me the same cliche, everybody understands networking. So I told her that what I'm hearing is that for you, networking means it's, for something that you have to receive in return, you have to do this necessary evil. And it's manipulative. She said, you're bang on. I said, how would it be if you say networking may, you don't have to receive anything. It's just about connecting from who you are in your core. So then I asked her, how would it be for you? She says, I'm okay with this, but this is not networking. I said, this is absolutely networking. And I gave her examples of how this can be networking. Now, this is a real scenario. Okay. She has to network for her to get to the next level. But the way you network is not about I need to receive something, but I need to give. So you give first and you receive. This way you network, this way you influence, and you will see you will get much, much more than what you could have asked. This is a very esoteric way or a spiritual way, one can call it. It doesn't make sense. At the same time, there are books like 48 Laws of Power, which talks about strategies.
Yeah.
But it depends on which path you take, depends on who you are in the core of your being, and that comes back to inner. Yeah. And that's the most difficult thing. Most people do not know who they are. That's the first principle of making your performance equal to your potential. Everybody has potential. You have potential. I have. Everybody outside has potential. Then why is that potential is not converting to performance? I've seen so many leaders telling me that I have so much in me, Deepa, but I'm not able to see that into performance. They do this, they do this, they do this. I can't do it. So this is a very common reason, and they'll give me 10 reasons why their potential is not equal to performance. And then I'll ask them, let's look at what is interfering. Now, this has 2 buckets, external and internal. External would be family problem, or my manager, my peers, the culture of the organization, toxicity, and all the environment. Environment like COVID happened, and I coached so many leaders in that. They were in so much of a turmoil. So that was interference in the external world. What are the internal world interference? There are 5 levels. Now, the 5 level of interferences, the first one is at the level of the body. I don't feel like doing anything. I'm not interested in doing. My body doesn't want to move. I just don't have the energy to do anything. The second is your discipline, or I call it the rhythms body. Yeah. Today I'll do something, tomorrow I'll do something else. There is no consistency to anything that I do. Okay. If there's no consistency, if there is no body energy, nothing is going to happen. The third is emotions. I love it, I hate it. There is nothing in between. I'm living in imbalance in my emotions. I can get triggered at the drop of a hat. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I want. Okay, but I'll get triggered. I'll get either hurt or sad or whatever, or I'll get so elated that I have no control on my emotions. That's the third interference. The fourth interference is my thoughts. Am I living in shrinking thoughts, or am I living in expansive thoughts? Most times we live in shrinking thoughts, negative beliefs, everything that spirals us down. And expansive thoughts is like living with inspiration, living with aspirations, etc. When I have negative thoughts, I will have negative emotions. I'll be fatigued. I'll not be able to perform. So all of these are chain reactions, from all these levels. And at the final level, the 5th level of energy inside is the level of your purpose. Why do you do what you do? Why are you running this podcast, or why am I interviewing? I'm very clear. I'm here because I want to spread my message. Okay, it's very, very clear. So you might have this similar purpose. So every action in my day, is it aligned to my purpose? So what will happen if yes, I figure out a way. I won't sit. I won't say I'm fatigued. I will do everything it takes. So interferences at the inner level, if anywhere it's blocked, even if the external interference do not exist, I cannot move forward. More in this, the biggest one is not the body or the energy. It is the thoughts and emotions.
Right.
It is the biggest one, and anybody can contribute. Family can contribute, environment can contribute, my team member, my manager, anybody can contribute to it. But ultimately, it's my inner stream of thoughts and emotions, which is not able to convert my potential to performance. I'm not able to stop my racing thoughts. I'm not able to stop my anxious feelings. I'm not able to, not feel sad or hurt when a manager says something and bring rationality to it. So this way, it is very hard to convert this and achieve success. So success is when I eliminate or minimize my interference. And then what happens is potential is equal to performance. You don't need to do anything.
Right.
Stop those interferences from playing havoc in your life. That's it. It's simple. And it's a formula. But inside each of these levels, interferences levels, you have to put formulas if you want to achieve. It's not that easy, because especially thoughts and emotions are difficult to crack. And that's why my background in psychology helps me so much to really figure, somebody says this, okay, what is happening? I can quickly nail that and understand, okay, this is the scenario. This is what is happening. So that's my joy actually. So why call, and this is energy mastery. When I master my thoughts, emotions, I master my energy, I master my, I know my purpose very clearly, live in alignment with my vision and purpose, and take my body, I tune my body as an instrument to achieve that purpose. Everything is flow. I can do far more than what I imagine or what I've written in my vision chart. And performance will happen. So all the women leaders, that's exactly what they need to do. This is the step-by-step process. And this is what I offer in my 6 months leadership cohort, which I run twice a year. Once I run it in January, and the other one would be somewhere around July, August. So, and we step by step, we look at every layer of energy so that they first understand what is happening. Because normally we do not know what's happening. We first understand and really honor what's happening. We check our energy and then transform it. So the energy gets released, performance increases. And it's a lifelong journey. It is not a one step. It's a lifelong journey.
All right. So you make it sound very simple. Some of the things which people talk about is the glass ceiling and people's perception about women and the system itself not working for women, basically.
Yeah, correct.
So have you also faced those things or seen your clients facing such things?
Yes, my clients do, and some of them come to me saying, "I want the corner office. I'm not able to see how. It feels like the system has blocked. What do I do?" I still work on the beliefs. My approach is always inside out. Because if you look at the system outside, yes, glass is real, ceiling is real. But the mind creates the glass and the mind creates the ceiling. So then it can be broken.
Right.
So I work with the power of the mind. So my people who want straight answers will never come to me. Because I make them search for the answers.
Right.
And then making them search for the answer is a very irritating, long process.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, it is not a simple process because I have the confidence that it's possible. But how? I don't know how it's possible for you and for somebody and somebody. We have to figure it out. We have to discover the process. For me, that's the joy.
Yes.
Possible. So glass ceiling can be broken with the power of the mind. And sometimes what happens is people who come to me with that, during the coaching journey, they realize actually I'm not even chasing that. I'm not even chasing the corner office. I'm actually chasing inner peace and joy. I have not slept. I've not taken a vacation for 6 years.
My God.
I don't have time to spend time with my 8-year-old, 9-year-old son. I get irritated when he asks for time. What am I really doing? So it's a U-turn when you look at it inside out. And such a person who gives time to the sun and all of that, no, they will achieve. Because the energy was blocked in guilt. The guilt was blocking that energy. The moment you open that tap and connect with that child or connect with whatever is joyous for you or go for a vacation, the guilt goes away, space gets created. You can make more structures to achieve success. Success is yours. Potential is equal to performance. So you remove the energy drainers because you have the potential. That's why you're in this position. You're in the director position because you have it.
Right.
You don't have to work on that. You have to work on eliminating this so that automatically it unblocks. This is a different way of looking at it. It is radical. It's a time-taking process.
Yes.
And those who align with this, it is no spiritual yarn. It is, but they have to do the hard work. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
I make them journal. I literally make them reflect. They have to come back with a reflection. So it's a lot of hard work you have to do. And once you crack it, any situation comes, you'll be able to apply that onto the next situation and the next and the next.
Okay, and that's why you call it Purna.
That's correct. Yeah. My all my offerings are also called Purnatva. My community is called Purnam.
Okay.
So it's all aligned to wholeness. Because that is what we all seek. We just don't know it.
About the
So Purnatva or Purnam came to me when I was in the darkest place of my life. It came to me when I think it was 2019 when I was really, really low in my inner, and I had kind of actively withdrawn from work because I was really processing what was happening inside. And in one of my meditations, when I was doing it with Sri Ravi Shankarji, this chant, Purnamada Purnamidam,
yes,
came to me, and then what happened is just after that, because I'm an expressive arts therapist as well, I picked the paper and I started doodling, and my first logo before this, that came to me. And then I created that, and that's how I started the organization. And I didn't know what I'm going to do with that. I actually did not know. But I started at that time, for the next 6 months, I started interviewing people.
Okay.
For me to get into what really is this, I didn't know.
Right.
But I just took actions. I just took actions to come out to the world because I was pretty much in my inner. So that was one of the biggest dark breakdown, I experienced. And then when I realized, after 6 months, I realized, oh my God, this is what I was searching, from the darkness to light. This is what I was searching for, and that's what has come to me. And it is a gift from something much higher than me. And this is my purpose. This is 2019 to now it's 24, and I'm just following guidance. I'm just following the path without too much strategy earlier. Now I still have a strategy. I mean, much better than before. But in essence, creating that impact of Purnatva. So people who come to me, I know that they're coming to me for that wholeness. They can't articulate it, but I know it. And I serve that. I exactly serve that need. So we don't know at which level there's a breakdown. It could be at the body, at the 5 levels. I do not know which one. But we'll figure that out. And that part, when really looked at and corrected, will become whole automatically. So we work on that from the wholeness, bring darkness and the light together, and then wholeness ho jata.
Oh. I also once during meditation, in fact, I was smiling throughout when you were talking about
I
it because I totally relate to what you're saying. So I read this Purnamada Purnamidam somewhere, And then I went to look for its meaning. And the moment I saw the meaning was a turning point for me, in terms of. So I teach communication, I told you, right? So recently I've started teaching this shloka. And with the help of this, I try to make my MBA students understand that how your communication is coming from your internal thought process. And if you were to believe that you are total, complete, the other person is complete, and the only thing that should exist between the two of you is mutual trust, then you will not take the hurt that's coming from there. And you will not want to give them hurt because there's no need for it. So, yeah, so I was like really amazed with the very fact that the same. So, by the way, Purnamada Purnamidam also forms is also the basis of one of the branches of psychology. Now, I'm not able to put my finger on which one. In fact, just 3 days ago, I was talking about it with my students. And I'm forgetting it was actually coined by this German psychologist, and he's known for having introduced it. And my sister, who has studied psychology, when I told her about this Purnamada Purnamidam, she said, "What are you even saying? This is the basis of that particular branch of psychology."
Are you talking about Gestalt?
No, not Gestalt. I can't recall what it is, but I might have to go back to my notes and check. I think some of these shlokas, like Purnamada, Purnamidam, plus the one that teachers start their classes with, they can be life-changing. And I can see you are really advanced in your spiritual journey. So it's very difficult to actually bring you down to answer some of these questions the way my other, interviews go. So let's look at the next one. Okay. So what advice would you give to women who are listening to you today?
So everything for me starts with knowing who you are.
I'm happy to hear I can connect with it. So please go ahead.
First is that know your strengths, know your core values, know who you are in the core of your being and operate from there. So what this does is that a lot of us suffer from the imposter, suffer from comparison. They did it, I can't do it. But they are different. It's never apple to apple. You're comparing apple and oranges, it can never be the same. But you need to know that you are that beautiful orange, or you are that beautiful diamond.
Right.
So who you are, if you don't know, then comparison will happen. First know who you are, and then match everything that you do to who you are. So it's like live in your inner home and then go out anywhere, come back to your inner home.
Beautiful.
That's the first and most important thing, because once that happens, you start believing in yourself and your worth. I did this because this is who I am. Others may not like it, but this is who I am. I network like this. I am a networker like this because this is who I am from inside. I cannot do how the other person networks, or the other person speaks, or the other person delivers a lecture. This is who I am. So then the belief, the self-belief jo bolte hai na, that automatically comes. That's one. The second thing, I think it's at some point in time you asked, and I feel mentors and people really play a very important role in our life and in my life also. So if you're able to seek a mentor, a coach, at times, when you have a constant breakdown emotionally, even seeking a therapist, there's no problem. Yes. Because what happens is you can quickly come out of it, quickly or whatever, but you can come out of it and really move on, but in a very empowering way, and not numbing, putting it under the carpet. But seeking mentors actively, especially when you're in a corporate role, seeking a mentor and looking at whom do I look up to, either a woman leader or a male leader, doesn't matter, but who can really take me to the next level and broaden my perspective. Please choose that and actively have a mentor. It's so
Very true.
invaluable to have a mentor.
I totally relate to that. In fact, I say the same thing that there's you if you are a sports star, you will always have a coach.
Yes,
You
exactly.
you go to gym to use those gym equipments. You can
That's
see your body, but you don't know how to use the equipment. You
yes,
be the gym instructor. Imagine you can't even see your psyche.
exactly. Correct. Very true. Very true.
So
And
how can you be
all
always equipped with?
correct. We need to have a mentor for everything actually. It's so important. What happens is when I run, so I have a fitness, I have a trainer, and she will tell me exactly how much I should run, and I just follow it to the T. Last 2 years, I don't have to use my brain. What she's doing is by step process, she's increasing my productivity, my body's efficiency to achieve, 10 kilometers, 21, whatever the thing I want to do. So, because I have a vision and I don't want to stretch my body beyond its limits unnecessarily, I will spend lesser time in a breakdown if I overdo it, if I
Yeah,
hire someone.
yeah, yeah.
So, a
Not
mentor
just
is really a
time,
must.
not just time, the money that you will save.
That also. That
In
also.
if you, I mean, these kind of things cause a lot of physical stress, and people don't realize by. And a lot of people actually I've met who say, "Okay, I wanted to do this, but I got a knee pain, and now I can't do it because you did not hire the right people." And a lot of
Yes,
us have this thing with money that I will be saving money by not finding a mentor or a coach,
that's true. That's
and
true.
it doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah. And that, as you're saying, it strikes me that one of the things, especially for women, is to be able to identify and set and assert boundaries. Because when you're saying yes to everyone outside, you're saying no to yourself. And a
Yeah.
lot of times we end up saying, because it's a virtue to say yes. We've been told adapt. We've been told that it's good, it's a virtue. But what are we doing to ourselves? Which means our well-being, our own growth, inner growth is hampered. So sometimes you have to say no if people are upset for your own self and your own peace. And this is something I have completely embodied. Like, there is no way I'll say yes to something if I don't want it. If I want it, I'm okay with it, I'm okay to say yes. So this is a very important thing, be it corporate or non-corporate. A lot of times we have to adjust, and I just was facilitating in a consulting organization, and they gave me 100 reasons why I can't say no. Okay, and I asked them, okay, what do you want to do with your life? Argue for your limitation, no problem. Stay there, and then land in a hospital. Fine. So what are you arguing for? You argue for your well-being and limitations. Okay, happy. Be there. If you want to argue for your growth, then you have to be holistic. You can't be just career, money. And how many, and the question also I ask is, how many times the money comes to your bank account and you don't have time to even look at how much is there in your account? How much are we from operating from the scarcity mindset? Do we really know what we are earning? And I know of many women who don't.
A very good point, Deepa. I'll be changing the topic here for a while. So one of the things I'm doing right now is a research on women's independence with their own money, the
Yeah.
money that they earn, and how independent are they to use it. Like a
Yeah.
lot of women, when I talk about spending money, they'll say, "I take the decision to save my money," and I say, "What about the decision to spend your money?" And what do you think? Do you think women today are more free to spend their money, or there is a control over it? And what is your take on it?
There are many things happening here. Um, there are one set of people who know that they have the money and they spend to the extent they overspend because they are overcompensating for the guilt, for the lack of time, or for the stress that they are experiencing. They don't know what to do, so they go and spend that. Yeah, and that's a phenomena really happening, especially in the middle to senior population. So, what I observe is, especially single women, single parent, single women who are in the corporate workforce. A lot of money, but there's a void which they're filling through that money, through that spending. That's one section of thing I have observed. The other section is where money comes, they're actually taking care of the entire house, but when they take that money to spend on self, it's not okay from the family environment as well as from self. There is a guilt. So I'm earning everything, but I can't touch that money or claim it for my own purposes. And when asked why, that's the way the family setup is, that's the way the structure is the answer that comes. So this phenomena is also happening. And the third kind of people are great family, money comes, give it to the family, they're investing, and nothing happens. There is no active participation with what I earn or the money that's to be grown. Unless I put my energy in the money I earn, it first of all does not fill me up. I don't even know how much I have. I will always operate from a limiting belief or a past belief. There is no scope for me to change the belief that I am abundant. I have so much, I have enough. So where is that possibility if you do not take charge and look at your bank account or look at what's happening, claim it, say this is what I need for myself or for whatever. A lot of times people want my coaching services, but they say that I have to ask my husband. People who are in the workforce, they cannot.
So when you say workforce, it's not the workforce company. You mean they're working?
No. I mean, they're in organizations. Yeah, sorry. So they are in organizations, but they have to take permission from their spouse to, I call it investment, to spend. For them, it is a spend.
Yes.
Spend on their own coaching for something that they have identified. Because they have to justify, and the husband will say that, oh, this is too much.
No, you can do it yourself.
Yeah. Why do you need it? That's the thing. Why do you need it? But I can do this with you.
Yeah.
So then the things never shift because you've never invested or spent, as they call it. So these are different phenomena that I see. And I think to each its time. And for everything that needs to happen, there needs to be a right time. And when that shift happens for certain women, it happens with a very drastic life situation. And when that life situation happens, they realize that they have never taken charge. And then that shift happens. So when they wait for that situation, then it happens. That is what I have observed.
Yeah. For example, I came from a very conservative background. I would not have had a career if I had not insisted on it. So when I got married and I had a career, I became a CA. I mean, that takes a lot. And I started earning. That's it. For me, that was it. Spending my money was not something that counted. For me, getting there counted. And I see a lot of women stuck in that. So later on in my life, when I started spending money, I realized how much I had saved. Because just in 3 years, just for my own self-development, I spent like 35 lakh. That's a lot of money. And I didn't run out of money because of that, okay? So, and that's when I realized that I had never realized my true power, because the financial power is a part of our true power. It plays a very strong role in grounding you to yourself.
Very true.
I found that grounding in me when I saw I could spend so much and learn things like, people spend this kind of money on their children's education. I spent it on me. And I don't regret it because it changed my life. It changed me as the way I appear today.
Yes, very true.
So, this is the topic of my research also, that women don't have power to spend their money, not invest, spend. And I'm very serious about this spend part. And because of that, they never ground themselves. So, thanks for your answer, because that you added many perspectives to it, um, which is expected of you. You meet so many people
Yeah, yeah.
at a very high stage of their career, and I think you really have very relevant perspective about women's spending power. So thanks for that. That really adds value, and I'm pretty sure that people who are listening to it, women who are listening to it, might be able to learn something very valuable from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the last question of this session today is that what are your plans for your future?
Okay. Now again, there is bahar ki dunya and andar ki dunya, the outer and inner. In my inner world, I want to continue doing my rhythms, my practices, grounding myself, like the roots of a tree, going deeper, thicker, wider. I think that's what I want to do
Sounds
for my
beautiful.
inner self.
Keep doing
Yeah,
it.
correct. So that's very clear and sorted. And but what I want to do in the outer world is to continue to live my purpose. So my purpose is to spread self-awareness, self-mastery, energy mastery in humankind. So what I've realized in the last few years is that unless I make my offerings palatable, they really don't understand what I'm saying. Like you said, rightly said, it's difficult to grasp this because it is not touchable. It's not physical, it's not tangible. So I have to make it tangible and break it down for people. And that has been my effort in the last 6 months. I've launched 3 cohorts. I'm now designing my coaching wheel to really say all the services in under coaching that I offer. I'm going to be, doing a masterclass next weekend,
Oh,
and in that I'm going to be launching so that people know what are all the possibilities. And for me, coaching is one methodology, but it's the whole objective is to enhance energy mastery, is to reduce the interference so that potential can be equal to performance. It's simple. That's the strategy. So I want to continue doing that. I spread my purpose. I continue to earn. I continue to contribute and create an impact, and ultimately live. I've created my tombstone, my epitaph. I'm very clear. So I know I'm walking towards that and reaching that and living that every moment. So that's what I want to continue. And for me, consistency is the key. Like doing the same thing again and again, looking at how can I tweak it to really enable me to be a master in that. And I'll continue to, wherever I can speak about it, be a speaker, facilitate workshops based on that. Definitely, I want to write a book. But for me, I've realized that many times I've started, but when I say I will write, it never happens. I think the way I've felt is that the book will write itself and come to me, and I'm going to scribe. I think I'm waiting for that. I'm really waiting for that. So for me, it's like, I don't know that it'll happen next year. I don't know if it's the following year. I don't know. But I can already see, because I'm a super visualizer. I can see that I have many books under my name. I can see it, but I do not know when. And I'll let it unfold whenever. Until then, I'll keep creating my work. So pretty much that, and keep inspiring people. Yeah, that's it. These are the two things, outer and inner.
लाइफ सेट है.
सेट है, एक्चुअली सेट है, बहुत फ्लो में है, सेट है, और क्लियर दिख रहा है मुझे. आई कैन क्लियरली सी इट. There is, and if any interference comes also, I can immediately see it. I'll knock it off. There is no gap. Every day I do a journaling process where night I look at the drainer If whatever the energy drainer has come, next day it will be out. So in out.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, for those who are listening to this, I think this was a very spiritually exciting session for me also. I also have a spiritual side to me which is very strong, and I talk less about it for the same reason that sometimes it can become very difficult to reach out to people from spiritual ground because spirituality has not been ingrained in us from childhood, and which was a mistake, I think, for those older generations. I hope that I can instill it much sooner in my kid, because no, that's the key to success. Any successful person that I've seen, they have a spiritual side to them. In fact, recently I learned that the founder of Facebook, when he was in his journey to build Facebook and he was facing resistance, he came to India and spent quite some time in Nainital at the ashram um, of a Indian spiritual guru who's very famous because before him, before Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs had come and he got success. So he suggested to Mark Zuckerberg, go to India, spend some time there in the ashram and come back and you'll be successful. Somehow spirituality is intertwined with great successes. And I can see that is so true in your case. So I wish you all the success. And I have to tell you that my questions have not ended. We have gone all over the place, but I've only got more and more diamonds out of you. You're a beautiful person from inside, and just say that.
Thank you very much.
An honor interviewing you. And I
Thank
hope
you.
to be in touch with you. Thank you so much, and good luck to you. All of you who are watching this, please like, share, and subscribe so that you can be part of every interview that I present to you. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I think whenever I share about myself, it makes my resolve far more stronger. So thank you for that opportunity. Yeah. And I never know what happens from here. Thank you.
Thanks. And good luck to you.